Good evening to all our viewers. Welcome to the fourth episode of the Alberta First Pension Plan online town hall. Every second Tuesday, we present and discuss the benefits of an Alberta pension plan. My name is Kerry Lambert, host of the Chris and Kerry Show, and I'll be your host for this evening's town hall. Alberta's First Pension Plan is a grassroots initiative of concerned Albertans who want to educate all Albertans on the benefits of an Alberta pension plan. Our goal is to collect 270,000 names and contact information. And once that's done, we will begin to collect signatures within a 90-day window and present it to our Alberta provincial government and initiate a referendum on an Alberta pension plan. And then you, Albertans, get to choose whether or not you want an Alberta pension plan. We are not affiliated with any political party or lobbyist group. We do rely on donations and volunteers to get our message out about our Alberta pension plan out to everybody. And please consider volunteering and donating. And you can find out more by going to our website right here, which is albertafirstpension.ca. And of course, if you want to ask any more questions, we do have a contact page on there, or you can just send us an email, albertafirstpension@gmail.com. Tonight's topic is a little bit of math. I like math, I think. How much can a business and individual save if there was an Alberta pension plan? We have our pension experts tonight, our Tanner Naday, who's an economist and freelance speaker, and Mitch Sylvester, who's head of the Alberta First Pension Plan Group. This is a live town hall, and with that, live town hall. So we encourage you to ask questions and make comments throughout this presentation. Just put 3 question marks before your questions so it'll be flagged, and please share. And you know what? Actually, before I do this, I'm going to go back to this, because one thing I should have mentioned is we've been doing these weekly challenges. And I have to say thank you so much for Vicky Bayford for filling in from last week when I was away. But one thing that we probably should have done is told people how this weekly challenge works. And the weekly challenge is we need you to email your MLA. We definitely need you to mail or email your MLA. And it's so easy. Just go to the website, click on the weekly challenge button, and it takes you there. It practically fills everything in for you. It'll go there and you can go email. It'll ask you what your address is. In my case, I'm just going to put 90 Crowfoot Way, just because, just to see that things do change. Crowfoot Way, there we go. I'm going to go in there, submit that. And then it will tell you who your MLA is. It'll actually give you the text. All you need to do is just email, boom, send. How easy is that? We make things so easy here at Alberta First Pension. So I wanted to show that to you, just to show exactly how easy it is. And you can tell your friends, and they'll tell 2 friends, and so on, and so on, and so on. So that's the way we're going to get this message out. I think right now we've had over 500 for sure sent out to the MLAs, but we need thousands. And that's the way we're going to do it. So with that, I'm going to bring on Mitch and Tanner now. Tanner and Mitch, how are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Good.
I'm doing amazing. Yeah, I wanted to fill that part in because I think that was important that, we built that in. Vicky, who's the programmer on that one, built that in. And it's such a great tool to send out to everybody, all the MLAs, and let your voice known, because we often will say we just need to get our voices out there. So I think that was an important thing to know. Tanner's got some news coming up here. You got a busy. We're gonna just rattle just for 30 seconds or so, just because I like talking to people. Tanner's got some news. What are you doing next Thursday, Tanner?
Oh, it's true. I said I have a different background this town hall because
you do.
I'm at my fiance's parents' place and removing all of her stuff out of her room because it is now moving to our new place for when we're married. Because next Thursday, yes, her and I are getting married. It's very exciting.
Congratulations, you two.
Well, thank you. Oh yeah, it's been so much fun planning it, and we're into the single digits now. 9 days.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's fun.
Oh, I love it. And Mitch, you're doing well?
I am.
You're up at the lake and just
a couple of weeks off, so now I'm ready to get back to it.
I know, and that's kind of what we're thinking. Is like coming September, we're definitely going to be getting out and doing a lot more of these face-to-face. But during the summer, it made perfect sense to be doing this People, if they're logged on right now, then great. And if not, they can be looking at this over the next couple of weeks, and then even preparing questions that will be coming up when we do this every second Tuesday. And of course, we were talking about what would be a great topic to talk about today. And this will either be a really long discussion or it could be a very short discussion, because I think the math speaks for itself. How much can a business and individual save if there was an Alberta pension plan? And I know there's an actual math number out there. So I don't know which one of you want to start talking about what that actual math number is and how it all works.
Tanner, you're up.
Am I starting? Oh, I suppose I could start. So there is an actual math number out there. You're right, but we should probably preface this discussion with a little bit of background, which is okay. So the CPP works as such, right? You and I pay money into the CPP,
right?
And then when we retire, the CPP gives us some money back. Really, that's how the pension plan works. Now, the CPP was designed to, what would you say, take over 25%-ish of your income on average over your working life. So to try and meet that standard, the CPP has constantly had to have changed its contribution rates or how much money people are sending and investing strategies and so on and so on and so on.
Yeah.
That means that right now, we are contributing, right? Individuals are contributing some, 5.95-ish%, right? Of their income checks to the Canadian Pension Plan. And then that is matched by their employers. So between you as an employee and your employer, in total, just under 12% of your income check is sent to the Canadian Pension Plan to be used for the Canadian pension. Now, that happens up to a set amount of income. It's 66 or 68 some thousand dollars. And then the metrics change. But that part isn't particularly important for the moment. What is important is to note that between you and your employer, you are sending just under 12% of your income check to the Canadian Pension Plan to pay for pensions. Okay, that's the way it is right now. But then this Alberta Pension Plan has been proposed, and along with the proposal, a lot of benefits have been proposed. One of those benefits, as you mentioned, Kerry, was a significant and substantial saving in dollars, both for individuals and companies. So we should differentiate then, in this case, two particular benefits by time. What I mean to say is, with an Alberta Pension Plan, there are benefits for employees right now, and there are benefits for employees in the future. That is, there are benefits for you right now as it stands today, and then there are benefits for you when you retire, when you're done working. So what we're focused on right now are the benefits that accrue to you right now in the present as you're working. Now, obviously, as you're working, you're not collecting pension. Instead, you're making money. You're making income through your job. And so how is it possible that the Alberta Pension Plan should be able to provide a benefit to you while you're working? And the answer is very simple, right? The Alberta Pension Plan, as a consequence of its structure and of Alberta's demographic advantage, among other economic advantages, has the possibility or the probability, the opportunity to decrease the contribution levels from what they are right now to something much lower. So between you and your employer right now with the CPP, again, you are contributing just under 12% of your income to the CPP.
That's right.
With an Alberta Pension Plan, it's been proposed mathematically that contribution rate between the two, right, could be cut to 5.9-ish, 6%, about 5.91 or 6%. So a massive cut has been proposed. And remember, with that cut, you wouldn't be sacrificing economic benefits for seniors who are collecting pension right now. Now, of course, there's discussion about whether or not that cut is feasible. That is, LifeWorks and Fraser Institute and so on have said, yes, absolutely, we can cut pension contribution rates to that level and, without sacrificing benefits for seniors. Other economists have said, well, actually, you can only cut them to maybe 8% instead of 5.9%. without sacrificing benefits. So even though there's a little bit of discussion about what exactly that number is, how low can you cut it, no one is doubting that you can in fact and would in fact cut contribution rates with an Alberta pension plan without reducing economic benefits for seniors. So let's suppose that in fact that 5.95 or 5.91% number, that new contribution rate between the two, between businesses and Alberta employees, is 5.95%. Let's suppose that comes into effect. What sort of saving would that look like? How much more money would be in your pocket at the end of every year? Now, the Alberta government actually has put out this number, but LifeWorks has done so as well, and so has Fraser Institute, both of which are independent. And the number is about $1,425, somewhere in that neighborhood. $1,400, $1,450, somewhere right around there. $1,400 plus dollars for you, and $1,400 plus for your employer. So for you, that's a big saving. $1,400 is a lot of money in this economy. For your employer, it's an even larger saving when you consider he doesn't just pay for part of your CPP, but also for your other employees' CPP and that other employee's CPP, right? For number 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way to 10 or 20 or 100, whatever the number might be, that adds up. And then it adds up so much more when you factor into account what we call opportunity cost, which is simply, if you save that $1,400, what could you do with it? You could invest it and make a lot of money over the next 30 or 40 years. You could pay off your mortgage sooner and then use the money that otherwise would have went to the mortgage to invest or, take your family on a holiday. Who knows what it might be? But no matter what choice you make, your quality of living will increase rather than decrease. So are there economic benefits? Yes. And we never hear about, we never hear in opposition to an Alberta pension plan the argument that it's economically harmful to Albertans. It doesn't happen because the mathematics are so clear and the numbers are so clear, and economists across all political stripes are agreed upon this, that there are economic benefits to be captured, right? You can't say there aren't. You can't say that Alberta's contribution rates would increase rather than decrease because the mathematics and the economics cries out against you. It refuses to allow that argument. So instead, if we do hear an argument for an APP or against an APP, it's always on the ground of some emotion or some fidelity to Canadian loyalty, whatever the other argument might be. It's never on the grounds of economics. The numbers are clear.
That's very true. Mitch, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, you know what? We could talk about my situation as a business owner.
Sure.
For me, it would save me. I have 12 employees, so 12 times $1,400 a year. That would save me that much. And that's fantastic. But as a business owner, I had the opportunity not to opt into CPP, but I was too busy focusing on other things, and I never thought 35 or 40 years down the road, and it literally probably ended up costing me $1 million to not focus on that. And how that works is that if you actually take the numbers based on $66,000 and my contribution plus interest at 5% would have given me a pension plan that had over $1 million in it.
That's right.
Would have allowed me to pay myself probably $4,000 to $5,000 a month instead of $1,300 a month. And the money at the end of that would have gone to my family. It would not have been taken by the government. So the point of that is that we can look at an Alberta pension plan as having more than just the options that we're, think about inside the box. This is kind of thinking outside the box. The economic benefits of every senior in the province have basically triple the amount of money that they would collect now. If you multiply that by 2 for every household, that changes the lifestyle of the people that are living in that house. It also gives them opportunity to have the money and pass it forward to their children. All these things can be discussed with an Alberta pension plan. Nobody's ever thinking that Alberta's pension plan is not going to be solid. We pay more than our share, so we have lots of money going into the fund. We can easily pay the rate that's happening now and have 30 or 40% extra to pay people instantly if we like. But the other thing is that I think it would give Albertans and Albertans an opportunity to be wealthier, and that doesn't include touching the principal. So after all that, you can take this contribution. If we could put it into an individual's fund, there would be a lot more money there for you. There'd be more money there for your kids when you pass away. When you pass away today, all your money stays in the Canada Pension Plan.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't get any of that money. That doesn't go to your kids. It doesn't go to anybody.
That's
So
right.
it would make the family stronger. It would make the senior citizens better off. It would strengthen the economy. It would do a lot of very good things.
Yeah, I agree. And there's a couple of big points that I think that a lot of people don't realize. So once again, we say this over and over again, and I think it's well worth saying again. We just need to get the CPP back into Alberta, or make it into an Alberta pension plan. Then we can change things if we want, right? The issue is that in the Canadian Canada Pension Plan Act, it basically says this is the amount of money that you have to put into your pension, right? So that money goes to the CPP. They deal with it, and then they give it back to us in whatever amount. But if we brought it over here, we would be in control of it as Albertans. And I think, to me, that is probably the utmost thing. We can't compare apples to oranges. And what if we decide to make changes to everything? The important thing is we have to bring it here first. And that process, I believe, Mitch, takes 3 years. Is that what we've said before?
It'll take 3 years to get here.
It takes 3 years. And so, having said all that, one of the things that Tanner's touched on again today was the number that the CPP deals with in terms of giving back to the employer, or the employee that has actually contributed along with their employer, is 25% of what their typical working wage was while they were working, right? So if the current CPP rate that seems to be, or the pension that seems to be going back to people, I'm going to say is about $800. Is that about right?
Yeah, 750.
Which means that most people say when they were working was making 4 times that, right? Just for the math, 25% is like 1/4, is about $32,000, right? There's no way that anybody within the last probably 10 years could even be thinking that they could make a go of it on $32,000 a year, right? And really, what else could they possibly do other than raising the CPP rate, bringing in other people in order to add to the contributions, right? Bringing in immigrants as an example to bring that in, or somehow we don't have people living as long as they would, and those would be kind of the 3 things that would really be detrimental to a pension plan, right? But if we were able to deal with it in Alberta, we know how many people we would be having in Alberta. We'd be, in theory, this might be a bigger scope of the conversation, but we'd be able to control a lot of the variables that would be able to change. So we would know that we can not provide just 25% of the as a pension. We might be able to do 50 or 75%. Wouldn't that be incredible if we somehow were able to change things later on and make it so that instead of getting $800 a month, maybe we make a few $1,000s a month?
And there's no appetite from the federal government to do anything like that.
No, and why would they?
We don't have to worry about that happening if this doesn't come here.
Yeah.
If this comes here, then we have all manner of choices, and we can make those choices. We can make the choices to be better off.
Yeah. No, I agree. Someone just replied back one of the comments here. Just a second here. Oh, I lost what it was, but it had something to do with seniors make less than $32,000 a year, and that's right. If you're only making $800 on your CPP, chances are you're also collecting OAS. Maybe you've got some RSP money. So before we went on the show here today, we were just kind of talking a little bit amongst ourselves about. So I worked a good 15 years with a company. So I put money in through my CPP, right? And so in theory, when I hit 65 or whatever, if I want to draw out on that, I can do that. And I've also been working as my own my own business. So in theory, I don't have to be putting money in, although I do, right? So, but there are situations where people they've only worked the same job probably for 40 years, right? I actually know a lot of people that have worked the exact same job for 35 years. That's almost unheard of, but I mean that does happen.
I've
Or
worked
maybe
the
you're in
job
the
for
same.
45 years.
There you go. Or you're working in the same
Business.
genre, right?
Yeah.
Same business, right? So, and if you're working for a company and they're taking the money off, then that money is going into the CPP, and of course that's what you're using as your pension. And then in theory, you know, the idea, the way society tells us to do is we're supposed to be debt free by the time we're 55, isn't it? Freedom 55, right? So you're supposed to have your house, you're supposed to have cars, you're supposed to, but no, like there's expenses all the way to the grave. Absolutely, there is. You're paying your taxes on your house. You need new car. For me, once every 10 years, maybe. But there are people that need it more. And so there's always expenses. And the fact that I looked at the math now here on the CPP, that you're only getting $800 a person, right? Because in theory, if you're single, then that's all you get. If you've got a spouse, then you're getting double that, at least in theory. And you know, we haven't even touched on what if you pass away and what happens with all that money and all that. So, but I think again, if we can just let people know that the most important part of all of these discussions that we go into is we need to get this pension into Alberta, because once it's here in Alberta, then we're bringing it in, apples to apples, oranges to oranges, and then we can change it into a grapefruit if we wanted to and add those sorts of things that we want to, but we can't do it right away. And this discussion is not about necessarily people that have retired already, or maybe they're just getting into retiring. The most important thing, I think, is for the people that are in their 20s and 30s and maybe 40s who are putting money in right now. This is most important for them. Right.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So people have to understand the fact that there's absolutely no guarantee that money is going to be there at the federal government level.
Absolutely, I agree.
And I'm going to say that it's a very distinct possibility that it's not, based on what we're seeing happening there with our own eyes.
Yeah.
So if they're stealing money from us in the billions of dollars and hundreds of millions at a time,
yeah.
And so what would stop them from taking on a big chunk of money like that?
Mm-hmm.
But if it's here and they have to either say the money's not there or send us the money. If they do send us the money, the principal, then we can keep an eye on it ourselves, which is going to be much easier to do than if it's in Ottawa. And then at that point, we can assure ourselves and be assured that money's going to be there for the next generations, for Tanner's new babies, and for my grandchildren and children. So I really believe that it's a matter of not trusting, and I don't think we should trust. I think what we should do is keep an eye on our money, because actually money is something, this is a money talk, this is an absolute money talk, that we have to keep track of our own money. And if we don't, well, then we're responsible for what's happened to it.
Yeah. Mitch is right. Like in the first, you're right too, Kerry, to talk about that 25% discussion, right? We often hear, wow, the CPP is doing exactly as it should, because it was never meant to supplant more than 25% of a individual's average income over his working life. But I think that's a nonsensical argument. It's like, why not do better if you can do better? Like, this whole argument of we should just keep the status quo where the status quo is at is such nonsense. It doesn't make any sense at all. Why would we not want to be continually improving the quality of life for our seniors and for soon to be seniors or eventual seniors? If we can take the pension plan that right now apparently supplants 25% of an individual's average income over his working life, and we can change it so that it supplants, 40 or 35 or 45% of an individual's working income, why would we not do so? There's no argument to not do so at all. And to say, well, we should not do it because the CPP is working exactly as designed, is to completely disregard any form of innovation, any form of progress, true progress, or of increasing the quantity or the quality of life. It's like, you would be like living in 1940 saying, why should we try and upgrade a vehicle? They're working just fine right now. Why should we add new engines? Why should we create a diesel engine? Why should we do this and that to increase the efficiency and output of a car? They're working as they're supposed to right now. It's nonsense. Now, as to the second point about whether or not the money is in the CPP, whether all of that asset money is in fact there, yeah, Mitch is right. We'd be fools to trust what government says. We'd be fools to trust what anyone says, right?
Mhm.
People trusted or were more trusting back in 2006, 2007, 2008, and we saw where that trust got men. People were trusting, even more trusting even just a few years ago. And it turns out so much of what government tells us is a lie. So much of what our bureaucrats say is guaranteed is not, in fact, guaranteed. And so many times when we've been told everything financially is stable, safe, and secure has been proven to be false. So why would anyone for one moment say, well, because a few bureaucrats told us that all the money that publicly is available is actually there, we're going to believe them? I think that's a foolish position to take. And just as Mitch mentioned, if we do so, then we deserve everything that's coming to us. Yeah, no, we have to be assertive. We have to be assertive in demanding proof that what our bureaucrats claim is there is actually there.
Yeah, that's very true.
And I might add just one thing.
Yeah.
While we have the opportunity to do so.
Very good.
Right now we have the opportunity to do so. That opportunity may slip away. And I'm certain, matter of fact, I'm absolutely positive the federal government is trying to figure out a way to stop this money from coming to Alberta or having to deal with bringing that money here. I absolutely know that for a fact.
Yeah. And we have talked about this in terms of, LifeWorks report says that Albertans are entitled to $340 billion. Let's just round it up, $340 billion. But yet we contribute $9 billion each year, but we only get back $6 billion. So we actually over contribute. We've mentioned this many times, $3 billion a year. We could start this right from scratch and go, you know what? You guys in Ottawa, you figure out the actual number. We're starting in 3 years, no matter what. And we're just going to go with this. And then we can figure it out.
Yeah. Theoretically, you're right. Yeah, you're right, Kerry. The mathematics there works out. Now, you and I can see the federal government saying there is a stipulation in the Canadian Pension Plan Act in Section 3 that says if you want to leave, you have to have practically an identical pension plan. That's true. Which means you have to be, unbelievably secure in your pension plan as a province. So we can see the feds saying, well, there's a very good chance that next year, who knows, maybe another mystery so-and-so will cause the country to lock down again and no one will be working. Yeah. But seniors in your province would still need to be paid. And so if no one was working and therefore no one was contributing to the Alberta Pension Plan, how would your seniors be provided for? Now, when we get that asset pile, we say, well, obviously we would just take from the pile. And because our asset portion is so large, we could do so for a very, 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 very long time, unbelievably long. So much so that if that pile ran out because men weren't working, we would have far bigger problems to concern ourselves with than, in this case, the pension. Nevertheless, so that's what the feds might say, but just taking the mathematics at it alone and saying we contribute a disproportionate amount of $3 billion-ish, it changes a little bit year to year, every year, then in that case, yes, we have a lot of money left over so long as Albertans are working and the demographics remain relatively stable as they're projected to. It's only getting, as far as a pension is concerned, better because, of course, we're bringing all of these young individuals to the province, supposedly to work. Then yes, absolutely, the mathematics works out. Politically, of course, there's a tussle and there's a scrap about whether or not that can be allowed. But mathematically, the numbers are clear. Yeah.
So obviously, it's easy for us to make the argument about individuals and contributing and then getting money back. And we've had comments already, and I'll just throw up a couple here just so that you get an idea. Minerva says, you really think anyone or everyone gets that amount? Hardly. I personally get $430 a month, $5,200 a year at the OAS. That amounts to about $2,000 a month. Try paying mortgage bills and to live on that. And that is the whole reason why we're having this conversation, is because, yes, it's only going to get worse, right? And imagine this is for us right now. What's going to happen to our kids and our kids' kids? Even at 20%, we can see that if the inflation curve is going like this, we're working on 25% of this, and then it goes up to here. That's not going to make us, we're not going to be able to do anything. We're not going to be able to own our own homes. We're not going to be able to own a car. We're not going to be able to eat properly. So that's why we need to do this now. I think that's the urgency that I want to at least push through.
Yeah. No, there is a wide gap in the amount that seniors receive in Canadian Pension Plan, and that happens for three particular reasons, right? How long you contributed, how much you contributed, and the age at which you pulled your pension.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, right, you can see how even if you contribute maximums every year for your entire life, you would certainly have performed better if you were able to invest those funds into a private
Absolutely.
pension, right? The difference is magnanimous. Now, again, that's where the argument comes from. Well, it was never meant to be like a private pension. It was supposed to be one that, supplanted a little bit of your income, especially for those who never saved money over their working life.
That's right.
But if that's the case, then it's doing a very poor job of it, right? Again, the numbers are low. Yeah, the numbers are unbelievably low. We pay a lot of money to this program, and we receive, for considering what we pay into it, very little in return.
So the individuals and the employees pay into this, but the employees don't get anything, or employers don't get anything back. It's just the employees, right?
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
So to me, like, Mitch, if you had a dozen employees working underneath you, right? And we're talking, what number were we talking? Let's just say
$1,400.
3,000 times 12, $36,000 that you would be able to do something with your business. You could set up your own individual pension plan or something for your employees, which might make them go, well, I'd much rather put all my money in one basket. But if you pointed out, you know what, if you could take half of that money and put that into your own pension or RSP or a mutual fund or whatever, you'd be retiring after working here for 30 years, a millionaire. And then you could draw down on that. $1 million would be about $8,000 a month. We've done the math on that, and you can always go back and look at other shows. But that's kind of what it would be based upon, right? But here, if you're an employer, you are, by law, you have to give that money to the CPP.
And sadly, whether we want to admit it or not, our federal government is working against us in every step of the way here. Mortgage rates have gone up considerably. The numbers, I just listened to a talk here yesterday or today about how many people are going to actually have 40 to 60 to 80% increases in their mortgage payments here when their mortgage comes up. I know seniors that still have mortgages that can't afford that. That lady there on that fixed income is not going to be able to stay in her place.
No.
And then that creates a whole bunch more problems. So the thing that we can do, I mean, we're 3 years down the road from being able to realize any of these things, but if we have the asset pile and we have the opportunity to create more income for all senior citizens, I think it's a travesty if it doesn't happen. I really do. I really think that, and as an employer, I'm happy to give my employees, I would rather not give it to them, let's not get me wrong there, but I would just as soon pay their share if when they retire, they have a good income and they have a way to sustain their lives. And that would be very important to me.
Yeah, no. But my point, even with that, is if you wanted to give them a little bit of an incentive, and right now you're currently paying half of that, so $3,500 a year into there, you could make money, if you wanted to call it that, by giving them $1,000 at the end of the year to invest in something. You're still better off. The employer is better off. The employee is better off because they can put that money into something else that they want to do. And like Tanner said right at the beginning, it could be a quality of life thing. Maybe you go on a vacation every year, because right now we don't get that option with CPP.
No,
Yeah.
we don't.
So I really question why. And let me back up one step here. It's easy to make the argument for individuals on why you want to jump onto an Alberta pension plan, because in theory you could get more money in the end. Maybe we do a one-time lump payment. There's a lot of those little options. But why would we not have a group of employers, large corporations, want to jump on this and say, yes, this is a great idea? Why are we not getting a lot of employers asking that question?
Well, I don't know. I don't think, in my case, I don't want to minimize this, but in my case, it's a small part of my expenses.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. It's a small part of my expenses.
Well, and it would be anyways, just based on the percentage. If you had 1,000 employees, you're still only paying
1,000 employees,
5.95% of that employee's wage.
Right. But I don't think they get to keep all of that. They'd only get like a 2 or 3% credit there. Right.
Yeah.
Because some of that still has to go to pay the pension fund. So they wouldn't be getting the whole thing.
Yeah.
But it would be a benefit to the employers. But here's another thing.
Yeah.
If the retired people were making more money, in my case, they would have more money to spend.
Yeah.
And what I see is when people have more money, then more of it comes around to me. And, and that's how the economy works. The economy works that maybe if people had a larger pension, they would have the opportunity to spend more money and do more things. And as a consequence to that, it would make the economy just make a more thriving economy and create other options.
Yeah.
Just like a tax cut. A tax cut basically does the same thing. And it works everywhere, except government doesn't want to cut taxes, because obviously it's become obvious to me. When I read that article in National Post several years ago that Christian Freeland said we have to cut the standard of living for Canadians, and it was literally in the Financial Post, because I remember it angered me. So then they can no longer deny that they're actually doing it on purpose.
Yeah, that's true. Fran says, I'm just going to go to a few of the questions because we have had quite a good conversation so far. I hope there's a referendum for the CPP to stay in Alberta and that everyone votes for it. That's asking a lot, I guess. I think, again, is the whole point of us doing these conversations is to give you the information, and then you ask for a referendum, and then you can make that decision. Whether or not you think a CPP should be the way to go, or whether or not an APP would be the way to go. I think that's kind of what we want to do, is we just want to educate people so that they can do that. So with that, I'm going to say you can do that by, actually, I got to just edit this here for a second. By going to the website and signing up now, and you can just go to the albertafirstpension.ca and make your voice known. We're not asking you yay or nay on this matter. All we're asking for is that you have a say in this matter, rather than dictating it to the bureaucrats or the government in Ottawa to say, no, we're not even giving you the opportunity to do this. We're going to do this or not let you do this. No, we need 270,000 names and contact information so that we have that ability to chart our own future. That's exactly what we need to do. So go to albertafirstpension.ca and sign up. No. And now I'm just going through some of the comments. These are great comments, and you know what? So Francis, how often can we sign up for it? Just once. Just sign up once. It goes into a database, and if it's the same contact information, same name, same whatever, that's all we want. We want that. So you can't just get
Kerry
1 and Kerry 2.
You can find 25 people to sign with you, though.
Oh yes, absolutely. And you know what? Actually, having said that, Vicky, I'm going to cover up your face there, Mitch.
Okay. Yeah.
Can everyone here get in front of 2 people this week and have them sign up on albertafirstpension.ca/join. It's the actual link, but or you could just do the button, like I said. If we have everyone do that this week, we can present this to the government very quickly. Our goal is to have 270,000 people signed up by November 1st, which again, timely is the UCP AGM is the 2nd and the 3rd, I believe, this year. Might be the 1st, 2nd, whatever it is, of November. We can then initiate our petition to the government and get the required signatures. We'll push the provincial government to set a date for this referendum. The power is in your hands. Very good, Vicky. Thank you so much for posting that. Yeah. So again, here's as I was doing a little bit of research on this particular product, and of course we've talked about whether or not you've saved and how much you've saved. You know what? There's a lot of this sort of thing going on. Planning for retirement with little or no savings to draw on, right? And that I was shocked by how many people who are just relying on CPP and OAS to get them through their later years. And so we are trying to educate again the benefits of what we could do by bringing a pension plan, not only to Alberta, but to maybe kick in the butt or give you some incentive to say there are options that you can do. Right now, you're basically putting your entire 5.95% into a CPP that maybe, like Fran and Minerva had said, maybe amounts to $500 a month. Well, imagine what $500 a month will do in 10 or 20 years. That might, I always look back at the movie Total Recall. If you remember that, and they actually go and they buy a Coke from the vending machine, and it was $5 for a Coke. And at the time, I think a Coke was like 25 cents or whatever. And we laughed at that. Well, guess what? I was down in the States just last week or 2 weeks ago, and it was $3 for a Coke out of a vending machine. We are getting to that total recall, people, right? As scary as that is. So if you can well imagine that $500 that you're getting per month is just not going to do it for us. So this is the one kick at the can. I think that if anything, this is what everyone in Alberta should be going after. This is something that's attainable. This is something that the arguments are for Alberta are totally there. And we've already had discussions on why Canada may not like Alberta doing what they're doing. But we live in Alberta. We've been contributing here in Alberta. And I think it's important for us to say we can do this. And you know what? If we do such a good job, maybe the other provinces will be able to do such a good job too. No.
Yes.
Someone asked, is albertafirst.ca, which is albertafirstpension.ca, the same as the APP site? No, that APP, I know we've already had this conversation many times, that the Alberta Prosperity Project and the Alberta First Pension, which would be basically the Alberta Pension Plan site, are all called APP. And we've even talked a little bit about the Alberta Police Force, which would also in theory be Alberta Provincial Police, which would be also APP. So there's a lot of APPs that are happening in Alberta. So, and of course, the other joke is that it's an app, which we all have apps on our phone. So it's funny that that's the way it is. But essentially, no, the Alberta, the APP is the Alberta Prosperity Project or the Alberta First Pension Plan. Or you can even go to, I'm just going to hide this for a second. There is an actual Alberta Pension Plan.ca. This is the site that was put out last September or October. I forget exactly when it did come out. And this is from the UCP government, in which they were actually talking about what to do with the pension. So again, you can just go to the Alberta. I'm going to put that in there's a little tag here, and that is under Alberta Pension Plan .ca. Put that up there. This is a live show. That's why it's taking me so long to do that. Alberta Pension Plan.ca. And in there, you know what? There's something else that's kind of interesting that I ran into when we were doing that is if you go under Have Your Say, it asks you if you actually want to do your own math. and you can get a workbook, and you can do it online. You can do it here. And if you click on that, it'll actually give you kind of, what your own personal take is, and how much you're contributing per year, and then what you would get in the end, and whether or not this would work for you. So that's another thing, that another tool that we'll have as a link on our own Alberta First Pension Plan site, because we do have a lot of great information on the Alberta First Pension Plan site, and I'm going to change the label on that so people don't get confused as to which one it is. albertafirstpension.ca. Again, we've got our events. We've got links to lots of information in regards to reports. In the news, we have a video page in which it shows all the videos that we've done here, or that at least have some conversations about the pension. And the other part here on the website is, of course, our printout, and it's where we can get you to help us out and educating people. Print these out, stick them in your neighbor's mailbox, or hand them out. I think they make great Christmas gifts, although we want to do this well before Christmas. Great Thanksgiving gifts. Maybe that's what it is. Hand these out put them on your table for Thanksgiving in October. It's great information, and again, this is all easily accessible through our site. So thank you again for everybody that's been contributing and sending us links to add to the site. It is growing as we continue on. So it's a new site every day, as you would almost say, because there's always something out to be looking at that. So having said that, we can wrap things up here. Any final words on what you want to say in regards to the topic, of course, that we started with, and how much a business and individuals can save if there was an Alberta pension plan? And we'll start with Mitch. Mitch, any words you want to say?
I don't think I have much to add.
No.
I think that we could be very much wealthier, and
Yeah.
I think I think we could double or triple what we're getting from Canada Pension without a whole bunch of effort. Really, really.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Something to give our kids at the end.
Yes.
I agree with Mitch. If there were an economic argument against an Alberta pension plan, we would be hearing it left, right, and center from those who oppose it. But we don't hear it because there isn't one, right? Not even those who have completely lost any understanding of what truth is, refuse to debate this subject on the grounds of economics, right? Because they know that there is no economic debate, right? There is no economic argument. The benefits are manifest, and the costs in comparison to the benefits are minimal. And because the mathematics is so clear, no one who is against the Alberta pension plan is willing to touch it. No one talks about it because they know there is no debate. Yeah, the benefits are clear and present, and we have an opportunity to capture them, and we must.
Yeah, no, I agree. Very good words. A couple of last minute comments here. Irva, who I think is definitely on board now, has said, has anyone thought about having a table at the various markets? Would that work? Take donations, pass out information. Minerva, I'm going to ask you to sign up. I'm definitely going to ask you to sign up. That's the initiative that we want. Obviously, you've heard the comments today, and I think that may have changed your mind, or maybe you weren't sure exactly what was going on. And again, you can go to the website about that under Alberta First Pension, or send us an email, albertafirstpension@gmail.com, and we will definitely put you on our volunteer list. We've got quite a number of volunteers. I'm not even sure exactly how many we have, but I'll bet you it's well over 100 right now, and that number is growing. And they're waiting for an event. They're waiting for things to do, right? They're waiting. We've already had the Strathmore Stampede was this weekend. Yes, it was on Saturday. So we had a float in there. Our good friend Angie put a tractor in there. I got to put some pictures up when I get them and put them up on the website, just to show any way that you can get out there and help us educate. Is definitely worth the time and effort for us going forward. So there it is. Vicky says we have over 380 volunteers. I can't even count that high. So that is amazing. And then and Minerva did say, "Oh no, I've been on board from the start." Well, thank you so much, Minerva. So good. And so I just wanted to, again, thanks to Mitch and for Tanner for coming on and letting us know what's happening with the pension and how we can better educate Albertans and get this thing through, because that's the important thing. Is we just need to get this through. And of course, we wouldn't be able to do this without you watching. So thank you for everyone for staying online and watching and listening and commenting and asking questions. Once again, we do this every second Tuesday. We'll be taking questions and compiling them, and we'll get our guest presenters to answer your questions as we are able to. And yes, volunteers, we're always looking for help and volunteers. If you have time and experience and a skill set that can help us, can you do webinars? That would be great. Please do not hesitate to contact us through the Alberta First Pension Plan site. And I think that's what we'll do. We'll wrap up. I want to wish everyone a fabulous rest of the evening. And we hope to see you at an event in person or online again very soon. Again, Mitch, Tanner, thank you so much. Good luck to you, Tanner. That might be, I don't know if I'll talk to you before you get married. So again, congratulations. You guys are amazing. And wish you all the best of luck going forward. And man, so good. I'm just so happy for you guys.
Well, thank you. Oh yeah, we'll see you in a couple of weeks for sure.
Oh yes, for sure. You'll be back in a couple of weeks. You know, we could probably do this as a, maybe we'll do this at your reception.
Yeah. So you could, you gotta, there's a good amount of people there. And so if you, I don't know, then not like you can escape either. Once you start talking.
No, that's right too.
You've got them.
All right. Well, with that, thank you so much. And we will see you guys in a couple weeks. Cheers. Okay. Good night.